This is episode 67, and you're on approach!
Yes! God, I hate your security.
You want a cigarette yet?
I need a pee.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, Tempo 63.
63, contact the New York Center, 128.3.
28, ready, Tempo 63, good day. Hello, Captain.
On Approach is a flight sim and aviation enthusiast podcast featuring the week's top user submitted stories and news on the skylounge.tv, except for this week. Because this week it's featuring news from FlightSimExpo 2018. Where at, Mr. Noodle? That's right, baby.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Not where the house always wins, but where gravity always wins. I love that t-shirt. I do. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Remember when you said, I'm going to have to see that t-shirt before I get it?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you liked it.
Yeah. I just got to see it before I go take my money. It was worth it. It's a nice shirt.
It was nice. It was a nice trip. It was unreal.
To finally all be together, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
Sparky.
to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I don't have any drink.
I got something special I'm opening up today.
Oh, he's got some solo.
In the name of getting together with good people, Mr. Tarpoon hooked me up with some fucking solo, straight out of Norway. Mr. Sparks has some beer straight out of Oakland corner shop.
Arrogant bastard.
And Kevin has a fist bump.
Nice. That's always quenches your thirst. And
Yeah.
I'm having tea because my throat still kind of hurts.
Oh, is that the new Sim Market mug?
Yeah. So here's part of from the swag bag.
The swag bag, yeah.
The swag bag.
Not a
And
bad
you can
swag
see
bag.
it. I've got it on my wall over there too. So,
Yeah.
Not a bad swag bag.
A nice bag as well, right?
yeah.
Nice
yeah, I
folds
just
and
wish,
stuff.
wish you had a backpack though.
Yeah.
Right?
I did kind of find myself a bit weird, like walking around with a handbag.
Yeah, I felt weird because every now and then I was going, like, all right, a lot of women do this, but taking the bag and going like this all the time and adjusting it and feeling like a lady, it was like.
Many years of conferences have trained me to take a backpack every fucking time.
Yeah,
Even an empty one. Even if you've got nothing in it when you walk in, take a damn backpack.
Good
Lesson
choice.
learned.
Good idea. Yeah. I had the chance to have my room in the same hotel, so I went right back up and dropped it in my room before going back down. So I was free all day.
You were just unloading upstairs, man.
Yeah, exactly. Easy way out.
That's definitely another tip. So we're all back home now. Well, not fully.
No, we're not.
Sort of.
No, we're not.
You're at your temporary home. You're at your temporary home.
50% home.
It's time to kind of wrap up the weekend. DEADSTICK. Now that we got to see it once again, a few of us got to see it at Cosford. It was your first time seeing it, Noodle.
Right.
I'd love to get your first impression on that.
Before I sat down looking at it, I was, in my mind, going, okay, it looks good. The trees, the foliage, and everything else look really nice. I like seeing that because between P3D and XPLANE, we all have our gripes kind of here and there with the trees and the foliage and everything else. It looked really good. I liked how the ground textures looked. But as we go inside to the hangar where your Cub is at, that was just freaking great. That was freaking great. It's fairly interactive. It was like portion of the hangar is like business, and the portion of the hangar is recreation, and portion of the hangar is maintenance, and then all wrapped around it is your bird. I am really surprised at what these guys are doing for such a small team to be doing what they're doing. It's amazing. Getting in the plane, flying it, You could feel the weight of the plane. It sounded nice. The looks of it, it was incredible. But I think the big thing for me, well, there's a lot of things, but the damage modeling.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Blew me away.
So that's one of the things that it's an exclusive announcement to this expo, right? So at Cosford, that didn't exist. So that's a measure of development right there. In addition to a full physical damage model, is fully working fuses and switches now. All that wasn't working at Cosford in the initial demos. We've got thermals and wind effect on the plane like nothing we've really ever seen before.
Yeah.
And that's running with with the True Sky engine. What were some of the other fresh things?
Well, that's about what I've seen, right? They're still using the old map. They said that they were building a new map with optimized autogen and stuff like that. But so far from what we've seen, that's pretty much it. And incredible amount of work that went into this since the last time we've seen it in Cosford, was it? Mm-hmm. And very impressive work. You just bring a tank of oil and drop it on the wing, and the wing like it breaks apart and stuff. Right? It was insane. It was beautiful to see.
I took it out the hangar and I purposely clipped the wing on a lighting post, and it put a perfect dent in the wing where the post was. It was just, perfect.
It's beautiful. I like where it's going. I really do like where it's going. It's great.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I mean, it's going to be great, especially for us. Well, the Sky Lounge whole, because we have the Cub Club thing, which I get a lot of shit for because I don't fly it. Yes, I've flown it a few times. I appreciate the club, or the Cub, okay? I appreciate the Cub. I just don't like flying the Cub. Jeez. However,
well, you liked this Cub.
This, I told the guys, you have my money.
Or I should say this Cub-like plane, because the plane itself, officially speaking, isn't modeled after a Piper Cub. It's actually different pieces of different short takeoff and landing type craft, which is really cool. And I don't recall the specifics, but Chris did point out like this tail is from this, and this this nose is from this, and blah blah blah. And speaking of that, I did also mention wanting to see a tail end with no skin on it, right? Because at the Valdez short takeoff and landing competitions, these are experimental craft. So you see a lot of people pushing that experimental label, and they're like, yo, I got piping in the tail. These are just tubes, man. I don't need skin back there. I just need 2 wings, and I need a rudder, and elevators. I'm good. And and he said, beneath the skin are those tubes, and he's like, so yes.
Yeah.
So I like this type of thought is so exciting. It's so exciting.
I brought up float planes as well.
Oh yeah? What did he say?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have to have that.
Yeah.
So
bush flying, it comes with big wheels, small wheels, and floats, and skis if there's snow.
Right, and to get the indicators, they're going to be adding more planes for sure, more regions for sure. So I do expect to see a lot of the popular locations. I did mention, why not just, putting the whole world in there and kind of going from there. I didn't get a yes or a no, but I kind of got the feeling that, maybe we can look at that kind of thing,
But it'll still be regional. So you'd have a map from Africa, South America, Northwest Territories, etc. So you'll have different regions.
Making the whole world in there would change the purpose of the game, and it would, in my
That's
opinion,
true.
make it less fun.
I think it would make it less
True.
fun. Right now,
Yeah.
it's basically like all the dreams can come true in a map. Right?
Yeah.
The perfect places can be designed without limitations from civil engineers that have dictated that this world needs to be structured a certain way. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, it's basically like a playground can be created, and I like it that way. I really do. And I've said it in a previous episode, right? Like you won't have the nitpickers coming in and saying, well, that lamppost isn't supposed to be there. Well, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
That's only because they clipped the wing on it.
Right. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so why don't you tell your story of clipping the wing?
So I've tried this in Cosford last year, and it blew my mind. This year they sat me in the chair and they said, do the same thing you did the last time, and I did, and it put a perfect dent in the plane. And he said, now take it off again. So I spun the plane around, and the difference on the plane's physics, the drag, because of that one dent, it was pulling my plane round. So I had to add more rudder to compensate. And the more damage you do, the worse that plane is going to fly. It's just going to really screw you up. And that's the half the challenge.
And that's something that in flight school I witnessed as well, because I was flying like 1970s airplanes, Cessna 172s, and they've seen a lot of hangar dents, right? And the ailerons aren't straight anymore, and the controls feel weird on the left but not the right, you know, that kind of thing. And they do all feel different as a result.
Yeah.
And I wish that I really hope that the damage model is not too intense, in the sense that if you fly that plane and you ding it in a hangar, if you decide not to fix it, it will affect the physics, but it's not going to be like a big dent.
It's not going to be
Small.
structurally damaging.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives character to your plane, and it flies uniquely.
There should be something, you know, and I kind of agree with that. You know, one little ding shouldn't just throw it all off. However, you know, if you're taxiing out or you're on your rollout, and you know, let's say you get up to 20 on the roll and cling, you know, if it looks like it's still flyable, and then definitely there should be something. But just
He ran
not
it into the
overly
tree, didn't
sensitive.
he? While you were flying, he said, "Let's fly it into the trees."
Oh,
And
yeah.
It
That's right.
It properly crashed. I mean,
That's
it
right.
was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, let's take it into the trees. And once that plane, you know, basically crashed, it crashed in every humanly way possible.
Broken
it
windows,
broke apart.
props.
Yeah.
The tires
good
making
stuff.
a greaser, and the
Yeah.
there was a bug in there as well.
that's
Yeah.
right.
few bugs still for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So that's Dead Stick. Sky 5, I think, across the
Oh,
board.
yeah.
I mean, that was
Sky 10,
that was just
yeah.
ridiculous,
Sky 10,
right?
too.
It really was.
Definitely.
It really was.
Take my money.
He's on to something, and it's only going to get better. So,
Yep. Chris,
you can't pre-order yet, but you can sign up now on
subscribe.
Steam to get like notified. Yeah, for early release.
thumbs up to those guys.
Thrustmaster rudder pedals that were announced. They technically were announced the day before, or no, the morning of.
Yeah.
The morning
For
of
E3.
they,
So
they
weird,
appeared.
man.
Well,
Yeah.
because it was for E3, right? So it technically speaking, those rudder pedals were not announced at FlightSimExpo. They're announced for E3. But Aerosoft was lucky enough to arrange for a set to be on site for FlightSimExpo, and that was an awesome thing because it gave people the chance to actually sit down and put their feet on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they did say, do it now because these are going to be going straight off.
Yeah, that same set was going off to E3 booths. So it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. So like everybody that came and said, "Hey, what are you liking here?" I was like, "You better get to the Aerosoft booth." Like straight up, I was just go to the Aerosoft booth, sit in that chair, put your feet out on the rudders.
The only problem that I had with them is that, and I've flown plane before, when you use the rudder, your feet are like that, and it goes like forward and back. And the problem I see with those rudders is that they're sort of on a pivot point above the pedals. And when you press the pedals, they change axis like this, right?
Right.
So if you want to apply a steady pressure for the brakes on one side, it sort of doesn't follow. It swings with the pedal.
You're also working with size 11s though.
I thought,
Yeah, but
I felt a little bit of that same frustration with size 10s, where the pivot point didn't seem natural, but there are aircraft that are configured in that form.
Right.
And I want to say that it's more like fighter pilot style than it is GA aircraft style.
the way,
You guys let us know below, right?
Yeah, let us know below, right? Because yeah, you're right. The pivot point for those were like a swing up above versus
Parallel
what,
movement.
what I found out about them is I don't use rudder pedals. I don't have room for them, but I've tried Edsons and they're very flat.
MFG
They
crosswinds.
sit very flat. So when you push them and then you want to apply your toe brakes, you're really angling your feet down. Where these ones, they're quite high up and they're very easy to apply those toe brakes.
So that's all
and push
adjustable.
them. So you're pushing them like this and you're just tipping the toes, where rather than the crosswinds are very shallow and you've really got to push down on them.
Not by design though. So that's fully configurable on the crosswinds, and it's also configurable on the new Thrustmasters. So you can change your angle of pedal. I have mine set up to what it's like on the Bonanza, but obviously every aircraft is completely different, and every rudder pedal set is completely different. You can get spacers for the MFGs that allow you to bring them in, to bring them out. You can adjust them flatter rather than more standing up. It also depends on your actual seating position, because you don't want a weird awkward bend to your ankle when you're sitting. But the Thrustmasters are adjustable as well. But I agree that the toe brakes, the pivot point for the toe brake
really nice.
was more natural than the pivot point for the toe brake on the crosswinds. And that, while it is somewhat adjustable on the crosswinds, you cannot make the crosswinds feel like the new Thrustmasters felt with that pivot point for the toe brakes. So a little hard to follow, but you got to really listen to what I'm saying. Like it would be tough to get the crosswinds to feel like those Thrustmasters, even with all the adjustment holes we have.
Well, the couple things that I noticed after sitting down on it was, well, a couple things. So, number one, ergonomics, your leg spacing on there. I think it's great for anybody of any height and all, because they are situated enough to where you're not squishing your mail bits.
Balls.
So there's that.
So out of left field with something so random. That's so smart.
Yeah. So there's that. I think another bonus is the way they're situated now. I think it's going to be comfortable for certain height ranges, because depending on your chair and your desk setup and where you place it underneath your desk, if you have, I feel, within a range of height, I think it's going to fit really nice where you're going to feel comfortable also keeping your feet on there all the time. Because a lot of times, after I'm done not needing my rudder pedals, because I'm currently using the Thrustmasters with a
The T-Flight rudder pedals.
ones. And they're good. It's a good entry and all that. But, your legs get closer and closer, which means something happens in your,
But I'm going to tell you something right now. So there seems to be an interesting perception in flight sim that rudder pedals are like this, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're really,
from what I
they're
recall.
really like the T flights are more accurate to what a real plane is than the crosswinds. Dude, they really genuinely
You
are
have to
like
think about
this.
it depends on the airplane.
They are.
It
bro.
depends on the airplane.
Yeah, for any real worlders, if you fly something with that much space and all, or if this is normal, let us know below. Because personally, I cannot see this being the norm. No way. I can't. I don't even recall that. No.
I took measurements on the V-tail, bro, and it's very narrow. It's very narrow. So like,
Perhaps for that.
but obviously we're desk pilots, and so
Sure.
comfort takes on a different meaning for us than it does for somebody hopping into an airplane. Most
Perhaps.
airplanes are not very comfortable. They're old planes that get you up in the sky and let you fly somewhere fairly fast, but I wouldn't say that they're comfortable. At our desks, that's a different story, right? Like, we want to be comfortable, and having our legs a bit wider open and at a bit more of a natural stance just feels better.
Well, I
But
feel like.
going-
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to go back to the design of the actual the pedals. I mean, with all the articulated parts, I think £15
15 pounds
pounds.
Metal.
of metal.
of metal. But the problem I found with it on the show floor is the actual base of it is very small. So you will have to mount them on a larger piece of wood or something underneath the
A
desk.
good point.
They're not very stable. But just the design of them,
bananas.
it looks beautiful.
It looks like $500.
And solid, and it looks solid.
So I've said it before with the Thrustmaster Warthog setup, yeah, and like you pay X amount, it feels like X amount. And with the MFG Crosswinds, while they are wonderful pedals, you pay X amount. I wouldn't say that it necessarily feels like X amount, but they are really, really nice and really precise. I can't talk about precision one versus the other because the Thrustmasters that were being demoed over there were not plugged in, right? They were not plugged into anything, so we couldn't actually test precision of anything. But those felt like $500 of hardware under your desk. The same cannot be said for the MFG Crosswinds, even at their current price point. I still have a very hard time justifying that price under my feet based on material alone. Material is probably more efficient with the Crosswinds, and it is elegant and beautiful, but sometimes you just want some fucking metal. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want it to feel tough like a machine, because that's what we want to feel, right? We want to feel mechanical things. And this set of rudder pedals that they're putting out, I took some pictures. If you're interested, I'll make a post or something on the website with some pictures detailing all the joints on the side of this thing. You've got little things and pistons and adjusting points, and it's got so many weird pivot points on the side of these. It's very mechanical.
Well, that was something else too, and a couple little points was, try to be quick. I was gonna, the whole mounting thing, like you were saying. Absolutely, you will be mounting this to something.
100%.
Whatever you use, you will be mounting it. You will not take it out of the box and use it.
Regardless of a hardwood floor or carpet, you will mount this to something. So prepare to screw to a piece of wood
at the same
or
time,
whatever.
There's only one of this rudder
In the world.
Yeah.
and my guess is that they're bringing it to E3 and to FlightSimExpo to gather this kind of feedback. Do we need to enlarge the base, or do we need to keep it as it is now? This is a prototype. So maybe they'll change it, maybe not. If they do not change it, then yes, you'll want to mount it to something. But then if they take the feedback, if you guys are watching the show right now, give us a bit of a larger base, and everything will sort itself out. You know,
it would even be larger and thicker as well. The base, it would even be obviously wider, and it's got to be.
Put 16 pounds of metal in there instead of 15 pounds.
The other little things that are, you talk about the articulation and everything. I did notice on the side that it looked like there is some adjustments that it can be done. So it gave me the impression that you could take the pedals and push them further back.
Yeah,
kind of lock them in a different position, and then work your brakes. So. Because it looked like it's basically in a default position, more upright.
Right, that's the default. The crosswinds are like that out of the box as well. They're pretty much upright. Yeah. All right, good. So Thrustmaster rudder pedals look good to me, look good to everybody. I think we're all real happy with that.
The price is about almost 4.5, 5, and it was said autumn, fall to winter release. So towards the last quarter of the year, so keep that in mind.
Good.
Save your
Christmas.
money. Yeah.
So Rex, Tim, I'm going to apologize straight out right now. If you're watching, I apologize for not making it to your booth. I'm glad the guys made it to your booth. I apologize that I was unable to come and check out the demo. No excuse. But I'll let them take over this segment. They shared the news with me. I know there's a lot we can't speak about yet, and one day we will be able to. But I will tell you this: I'm extremely excited. So I'll let you guys take this.
I'm starting this.
And remember what can and cannot be talked about. That's important.
So. We've had a bit of issues with Rex software in the past, right? The first release of Skyforce was a bit rough.
I had a bad time.
But after a couple months, they released patches and worked with people, and I credit to you guys, the Rex team. You did a very good load of effort to facilitate communication with you guys and make it easier for people to report those bugs and have them fixed, and you guys really want to have a software that works, and I congratulate you for that. Now a lot of people are switching to Skyforce. They've announced a couple of things today, including Mr. Noodle here. They've announced a couple of things today at the event in Vegas, and from what I've seen on the show floor at the booth, they had a UI right there, and please, I say it again, let us have that UI. I love it. I really love it. It's a very bare bone UI.
Keep it basic.
But I believe that UI you saw is a developer UI.
Oh, it is.
That no one will ever see or have.
It's a Windows form.
Because
ultra basic.
Because what was said is, we will do all the calculations for you. This is what we use to do the calculation.
But it's so much fun playing with sliders.
Are you saying?
I love it.
Are you saying? Well, we can tell from Chase playing.
Yes, exactly. What I'm saying is that we need a version of that software where we can play with software and get rid of all the dynamic stuff. I just want to grow my clouds and get them smaller.
Look at Noodle's like.
And transparency. I want to play with this, colors and stuff.
If that can be done one day.
If that can be done, I totally nerded out. He moves the sliders, and it was beautiful.
That's a good idea. That's a really. They should listen to that idea. It would be really neat if we could do that.
But yet again, I understand their point of view. A lot of people want to have automated, and it needs to be that way, right? It's a weather engine, and that's what it was designed for. But the tools that they showed were so incredibly powerful. Right? You can add clouds, remove clouds, make them smaller, make them bigger, change the color of the airplane dynamically. It's wonderful stuff. And I congratulate the team at Rex. What they've done right there, the amount of control that they have. If they build the right algorithms to make it work with a weather engine, they have the most powerful weather engine ever made for flight sim.
I love that angle. I love that angle. You're right. It feels like out of the box, P3D has like 3 levers and gears that you can adjust, for weather. But what they did is they built themselves a control panel. with 60 levers and controls that they can tweak and tune. And so what we're trying to say but not say is that the possibilities are literally limitless. And keep your eyes out for Rex Skyforce and
is it Environment Force?
And Environment Force is also, you know, there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
And the beauty in what they showed is that it all runs outside of the simulator. There's no like module inside of it, right? That's doing the trick. You just run it, it injects everything, and it all works.
And an incredible interest from the team to work with other utilities as well, because Active Sky was mentioned, and the replies were very supportive, positive. Yes, absolutely, we want to work with that. Absolutely, we will work with that. Which is, you know, it was my fear that the product will develop, and that they will say, okay, time to shut out all the third-party stuff and make people use our weather engine or our this or our that. But that's not their interest.
I spoke to him and I mentioned why we use the other program.
Project your voice.
I'm going to say what he said. The other program is because of historical weather. We like to fly historical weather. And he literally turned around to me and said, historical weather's expensive.
Real talk. And it is, right? Like the historical weather is expensive.
But they're working on it. They are.
He didn't say they wouldn't.
He didn't say they are or they aren't.
They said they were working on it, but they don't know if they'll release it or not. But
there's that.
You know, they do have data, but it is expensive. It really is expensive.
It was very, very cool to see that. You know, I'm pretty much the last here to adopt Skyforce because, you know, again, it was a bumpy start and all, and I was kind of like, you know, why do I need to buy it? Because I already have a couple other things that do fine, and you know, it's like it's another case of, you know, you're looking at this. You grab your handy dandy wallet and then you end up going like this, you know, and I didn't want to run into that. So, you know, Tim, again, gracious enough to say, hey, come by, check it out. I'll explain things, this, that, and the other. So seeing what's capable and then hearing what's coming, what's planned, what will happen. I immediately got my Expo discount. You should have went. You got an Expo discount. And I got home after right when I left on Sunday. I got home and literally had it 15 minutes later. Skyforce. So I look forward to what's coming. I like the functionality, like we're saying, what the tool. The menu system and all that he was using for the Expo, I same way with you there, Kevin. I like that and the capabilities that, you know, having sliders and such can do. You know, I think everybody likes a large, big, kick-ass, sweet-looking menu system, but sometimes you just want plain Jane. I want plain Jane to work for me. Does plain Jane give me everything that I need, make me feel good? All right, give me plain Jane. The bit I did ask about performance and does it really hit? No, and like you were saying, you know,
it's negligible.
Yeah. You know, so I just can't wait to have and see what's coming available to all of us. You know, and I will say that this was one of the funky parts about going to an expo, when you have a platform like we do to talk, when you can't talk, and
right.
This is such a hard pill.
Do you know the position you put us in, Tim? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a hard pill.
So,
but thankful.
I did originally, like Kevin mentioned, I had troubles with Rex Skyforce specifically. Reed at Rex reached out, one-on-one, you know, support. We got through it, identified a really big and nasty bug. I documented it to the point where it was able to be replicated over and over. Technical hotfix 2 was released, and it has been smooth sailing since. I've uninstalled all the other products, if you will. I still use the Active Sky weather engine, and for those that are interested in getting the looks that you see on TSL Live when I'm hosting, there is a theme now available in the community area of Rex Skyforce. It's the Sky Lounge TV, no spaces, and it'll pull it up in there. So Rex Skyforce from me is, you know, full on Sky 5 is a thumbs up from me. From Noodle, a guy who said he would never pay for clouds. There you have that. There you have it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, and I'm sure some of you might recall that episode. I'm absolutely one of those. I can bait 2 shits.
Yeah, and Sparky, who had one of the most popular Twitch clips in Flight Sim when his Rex Skyforce went apeshit, and like it literally went and turned into a disco party of shaders getting crazy. You know, all of these things are now resolved. And it's smooth and silk. In the future, after seeing things at this expo, the future is so bright.
Yeah, my mind was changed, and how Tim explained it, and the questions I was asking, and things like that, and what was being said. It's one of those that the information given was like, kind of like saying, now I understand. Now I get it. I will support it. Therefore, it's installed.
Wait, before we finish, I'd like to congratulate both of you guys and the team for this incredible and wild year it's been. Being a developer, I know it's really hard to take those comments on and really get the motivation to continue.
And to keep going, to push through it.
With them.
Right.
And they totally did, and relentlessly worked hard. And
Relentlessly worked hard.
that's
You said relentlessly. Is that a
relentlessly.
word?
That's pretty much
It
a word.
It
is.
Yeah.
should be a word.
It is
I like
now.
it.
Anyway, that word.
The best ideas come from our mistakes in grammar. Am I right?
But they worked their asses off.
Yeah.
It was to get this released, and now it's congrats. It's just it's
definitely.
super great.
Absolutely.
PMDG
Yes.
and the super secret 10-year project. I'm gonna lead off with this right here, bro. This is the one thing I noticed about this whole deal. So, how do I? There was a handshake
Oh yeah, that was.
at the beginning of the expo. Even though I have to clarify this, that there has been a media outlet that reported the timeline of that presentation as if the announcement happened and then a handshake to Mr. Matt Davies, but it actually happened quite backwards. It was actually the handshake to Matt Davies was actually at the very beginning as Mr. Randazzo was kind of walking in and up to the stage area. There was a handshake that happened only for PMDG to then announce a product, Global Flight Operations, that really put them on the same track as Project Fly. And I don't know if that was just I'm being courteous and not thinking about what I'm about to do, or if it was some kind of a weird underhanded thing. I'm not saying it was underhanded. I actually believe it wasn't, because the smiles and whatnot seemed very sincere. But at the same time, there's no doubt that this global flight operations thing that was announced, and I'm sure you guys will describe it better than me in a second, I'm just talking about the context of things, puts PMDG on the same fucking track as Project Fly.
Yeah.
So explain it. What is global flight operations?
The way I see it, right? PMDG, they do airplanes. That's what they do best, right? They do PMDG airplanes. They do BMD. They do Boeing airplanes, and they do it best, in my opinion. And they're trying to bring the systems as close as reality as possible. And things change throughout the years, and a big change that happened is CPDLC, which is basically a way for ATC air traffic control to communicate with airplanes and give them directions. It's a very simplified version of what it is, but in the gist of it, that's what it is. And what I see that project being is basically a solution for that. It's a NACAR system that connects to the airplane and allows you to more realistically interact with the airplanes and your flight plan and company routing and CPDLC and stuff like that.
But it's also virtual airlines.
VAs.
You could be flying for BAV,
Yeah.
and they can send you a message.
Yeah.
Actually, in the plane while you're flying.
The aircar system. Yeah.
Through the ACAR system.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a system that was built more for VAs than for like people wanting to track their flights in history, right?
More than for casual simmers.
Yeah, exactly. Where it comes in the same track
it's for the
as
hardcore.
Yeah, it's for the hardcore. When it comes in the same track as Project Fly is all the tracking stuff that happens and the persistence and what happens in the PMDG Operations Center.
Well, there was a tease, right? There was a tease of my lawyer said not to say this, but this was, and this is at this point it becomes not word for word, but this was inspired by one of those, you know, one of your favorite flight tracking websites, right? Basically referring to Flight Radar 24, but obviously his lawyer said, please don't say that this tracking system mimics Flight Radar 24.
I mean, to the graphics.
Right. To the graphics, to the style of presentation. But let's be real. What already exists that does very closely resemble Flight Radar 24? Project Fly.
Yeah.
So literally, like, these two things on the tracking side of things, when you get to click an aircraft and see its, you know, its data, they're on the same plane.
Yeah, I think that a big mistake that PMDG makes here, if they want this to succeed, the issue that I see is that it's all within the PMDG Operations Center. From what we've seen, maybe it's not the case, but from what I've seen, from what I've observed, it's all within the PMDG Operations Center. And supposedly, you'll have multiple tiers of aircraft that can work with this system. You have the full integration from PMDG. You have the aircraft like the Airbus family by Aerosoft, and then you have all the other aircraft. 3 different tiers, 3 different level of integration with the system. But I really don't want to have the PMDG Operations Center running in the background.
You're flying your Coronado so-and-so, and you have to open PMDG Operations Center.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? For me, PMDG does aircraft. That's what they do best. But I really don't want an ACAR system powered by PMDG.
I run my operations centers maybe once a month to see if there's any updates.
Yeah.
It's an interesting announcement.
To install a livery.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, no doubt about it, for the hardcore, they're going to eat this up.
Oh, yeah.
And I do believe that the hardcore are going to flock to this. I do. There hasn't been a mention of money. You know, this seems, at least for now, to be something that's going to be a completely free service by PMDG. Now, whether that's going to be monetized or not, who knows? But honestly, the amount and level of integration between this global flight operations and PMDG aircraft will make you want to spend money on PMDG aircraft, which means they make money off you anyways. So I believe that the hardcore will flock to this in droves, because they've got the ability for you to, I fly an aircraft to Boston, I leave that aircraft in Boston, I go to bed. Sparky wakes up, 2 in the morning my time, early morning his
Boston,
time.
Memphis.
He wakes up, he fires up the software. He's like, well, let's see, where's this registration number in the world right now? Okay, looks like Edson flew it to Boston this morning, and he jumps in the plane, and Sparky can now take that same plane and go drop it off in Dubai.
With the same patent state he left it in.
Yeah, and if I, you know, half-ass shut the thing down, Sparky hops in and it's not in the proper state,
I'm gonna be pissed at you.
he can ding me.
Yeah.
He literally, like,
Downvote.
PMDG has literally given you this power. And so, you know, when somebody logs into that aircraft, if that aircraft is not in a good, clean state, thumbs down to the pilot. And so you're able to be downvoted as a pilot, right, for not following procedure. This is a procedural
Yes.
tracker. This is going to absolutely push realism to a point it has never been pushed before. And it's my opinion that Project Fly was after that same market. It's my opinion that the people that love Project Fly because Matt did such a great job of adding in all the realism bits with, you know, flight plans and this and that and filing stuff. And yeah, it's just like this PMDG product is hardcore, man. It's hardcore. It's not for me.
That's the question where I'm going, right? Who of you would have liked to see an airplane, a Max with 787, instead of this announcement?
Let me. I'm gonna.
Noodle didn't raise his hand.
I was gonna start with positives, but I'm gonna do the typical thing. Give it the bad news first. All right, my opinion on this whole thing. To me, I'm sorry. It felt like a move to stomp on dicks. I'm being freaking straight.
Yeah.
There is absolutely.
I'm with you.
No reason for this. I feel for the people out there who have spent the time to develop ACAR systems to whatever extent. This one being a huge, you know, slap in the face to Matt Davies. Now, I saw Matt there, and after I saw the PMDG announcement, I really wanted to go over and, you know, meet him, because yes, I've seen Matt's streams, numerous streams. And after I saw this announcement, I kind of wanted to go up and to him and be like, dude, I feel like your dick just got stomped on. And I'm sorry to see this. Because, you know, I don't see any need for this. To me, this is a very specific thing for PMDG aircraft. Okay, now I'm going to slightly start going to the good. It works great for said aircraft. That's great. PMDG. Is it going to be an absolutely free product or a paid product? Because you said 10 years in the goddamn making it sound like, to me, this was going to be a fucking airplane. Now we talk about airplanes.
To a lot of people.
This is a company that everyone knows for aircraft. That room was packed. People, I'm sure every person in there thought it was going to be an aircraft no one thought about whatsoever. Everybody wants, oh, I want the 37 Max. Oh, is it going to have the split scimitars? I really thought
Gulfstream was another rumor out there. Gulfstream.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be a new aircraft or this announcement that surprise we got full and ready for release in a few months. A bird for XPLANE.
I got it. We got no cake at the motherfucking birthday party. We got quinoa, bro. We got quinoa.
Yeah.
We didn't get cake at the birthday party. Everybody was there for cake.
Yeah. So
and it was packed.
The room was packed.
The fire marshal was pissing himself.
Probably. I personally, and I didn't say it while we were in there. I was so heated about it and pissed off that I felt like I wasted my time. I wanted to get up, but I did I
did too, bro. I did too, bro. I did
and to be courteous, I sat for the shit. I was fucking pissed. Now, the positives. The new operations center is getting uplifted and updated.
Real nice.
Great. That's nice. I liked and here I'm going to revert back real quick to the bad, then I'm coming back to good. I liked what I saw when it opened with the 747-8 rolling out. But we didn't know it was the 8 until it got to the tail. In my mind, I'm going, 747? Okay, they're probably talking about the 8. Maybe XPLANE? Is it going to be XPLANE? Oh. Now, what he showed for what's going to be in the Dash 800 for the 747 is immense. There is a lot to it. I was really surprised the amount of layers within menus and the information that's going to be presented. So
RTFM
I'm really excited.
For sure. RTFM for sure.
Yeah, if you don't read the manual or if you don't sit time on the ground pushing buttons to learn, you're doing yourself a disservice because there's a lot to it. Now, I'm sure you can still fly it, but you would be doing yourself a disservice. So with that, I'm looking forward to the 800. No information was given on a date. So why are you going to show me all this shit and string us all around 10 years in the making, but not even give us a date?
Hold
10
on a
years
second.
in the making, this shit should be ready now.
Hold on, I need to correct you because the chat will correct you. It's not a Dash 800, it's a Dash 8.
Dash 800. Dash.
Rack him in the comments. But I agree with you though. The Dash 8 went under the shadow of the big announcement, so not a lot of people are talking about it.
Right.
But what they showed and what they demoed and what they've built with the Dash 8 is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to fly this airplane.
I have to say, I loved seeing the nose of that Dash 8 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
At the start of the PMDG segment, there were many technical problems. It sucks that it happened. No, you never want to wish that ever on a public speaker, but bro,
karma, right? Karma's a bitch, dude.
What was it, like pre-karma?
Yeah, pre-karma.
I'm not gonna continue. It was pre-karma. Okay.
But if you guys, there are a lot of streams and maybe official videos going on YouTube. If you guys want to see the beginning, if people don't cut it out.
No, bro. Look, props to the media company that leaves in all the mistakes at the beginning and doesn't chop them out.
Yeah.
Props to you. Somebody out there better fucking keep it real and keep all the technical difficulties in there as well.
It's beautiful.
So one of the things with that Dash 8, I had no idea that as an aircraft, the Dash 8 is that much more advanced in avionics than the standard. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah,
so the 400 to me always had kind of like this classic look and stuff. I had no idea that they said the 747-8 is pretty much like on par with like a 777.
Yeah, 777.
Yeah,
they're like avionics, even more.
Yeah, even more.
He said even more.
He said the only difference, but the only similarities with the 400 and 800 is it's just got a hump on it.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that. Yeah. And then when we went inside the VC and he started showing off some of the tools, I was like, damn. That is RTFM. I mean, this plane is legit. One of the cool things that they came out with where they stomped on dicks again was you either get stomped on or you do the stomping. I guess that's the lesson in life, right? So, he came out with they built this incredible tool that will scan your airports, all airports installed in your sim, and then generate these beautiful maps in your plane.
In the navigational display.
In the navigational display. And one of the woes that I've heard of the Quality Wings 787, for example, is that like you have to import your, airport graphic files and stuff and get them to display. I've seen packs on AVSim. Yes, I said it again, AVSim. I'm always going to call it AVSim. Suck it up. On AVSim, I've seen people upload packs of airports where they're like, I have these airports installed. I've scanned my library and converted them to this format. You can now put it into your 787. Hell no. PMDG stomp dicks. You press a button and it scans all your shit and it creates it all beautiful.
Yeah, there tend to be PDFs that you have to actually
PDFs,
install.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, one thing that we missed is the EFB.
Oh, yeah.
A full simulation of the EFB, integration with Navigraph charts, with Jeppesen charts.
That's right. That's right.
There's no searching for what PMDG did in the past few years, right?
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Yeah.
It really shows the amount of time that they put in this. And the EFB will be rolled back to the 777 as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They're working that into the 777 as well.
Which is amazing.
So, that's
cool
stuff.
Amazing. But yeah, that I think that covers with.
So I'd say PMDG, they had their ups, they had their downs.
Yeah.
The down was a pretty low dip, man. The memes were strong out of the gate. Within minutes, the memes were rolling.
Right.
I bet Reddit got hit pretty hard.
Reddit was
the
flooded.
source of the thing.
Yeah, they were the source. But, ups and downs, you've got our opinions. We'd love to hear yours. XPLANE had a very long segment. One of the things that jumped out to me the most, mostly because I know that you've been waiting, is the new particle systems engine. Is that right?
Oh, it's an engine.
It's an engine.
Particles.
Yeah, it's an engine. Real particles. They showed some crazy stuff. The heat haze effect is completely rewritten. Touchdown effects. Wing condensation
in the engines, and they did a lot of stuff in there.
And they're putting these sliders, the power of these sliders, in the hands of users.
Developers.
But we still have cloud puffs for controls.
Maybe not. Maybe they replaced it. I don't know. But sure thing is that this is the first project that I'm working on for XPLANE is contrails, right? You got to replace those as soon as possible.
They have to. They've got to be done.
And I'm doing this. Being
done. No.
Is this an exclusive?
You've been working on this for 10 years.
Yeah,
10 years in work in progress.
So what I'd like to do, and I'm committing and uncommitting at the same time. What I'd like to do is have those released at Cosford, right? That would be the ideal, or before that if possible. But I have other projects to work on, and I want to have the best contrails ever. So I need some time to familiarize with the tools. But that's one of the first things that I'd like to offer to this community is good contrails.
FSFX contrails, baby.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff, though. So what type of benefits will a particle system have over what existed previously, which was mostly like textures based, or was it like?
Well, there was nothing before, right? There was this like puff system, but it really had no real options or customization. At least no easy way to implement those in the sim. Now that they have a particle system, you can, with the tools that they provide, create effects that are way more dynamic than what you can have on P3D, because now you can bind some variables from what was it, 400?
Yeah, like 400, 600, crazy, even more. Yeah, it was
crazy amount of variables that you can get access to, and you can control the effects based on those variables, which is absolutely powerful.
He mentioned that, for example, when creating a touchdown effect, that you can have the suspension variable impact the amount. You can have the temperature impact the amount. You can have all sorts of things. You can have the weight impact the amount and style and the texture, right? And the texture of the surface. The surface. Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's like I had when he talked about it at Cosford, he just skimmed over it, right? At Cosford, I went ahead and talked to Ben, and he provided the tools to me for me to test and get my opinion, and basically help him shape my idea of what an ideal particle system should be.
How's the solar?
I'm liking the soda.
The soda? The soda? He likes the jet waves out of it.
You're thinking ahead. Wow. We're coming to that story soon.
Yeah, we'll get to soda later.
I like the solo.
It's on, yeah. That one's tasty. That's a good soda that's coming.
Damn it.
So yeah, anyway, I gave my opinions to Ben, and he gave me access to the tools, and I built like a rotor wash effect for helicopters based on the amount of lift that's produced, right? Depending on what collective and what setting your helicopter is in. And I was able to create that dynamic effect around the prop wash. And it's beautiful thing that I might, if I find a way to integrate it properly, offer it to you guys as well with the
offer it to somebody, you know, that makes helicopters.
Yeah. Maybe, right? I'm still experimenting with that stuff, but I'm getting along very nicely with that particle system, and I'm really excited. A lot of people came to me this weekend, are like, "When are you getting into XPLANE?" October is my likely answer. That's what I want to make.
You want to be finished by October?
I want to release something by October.
You want to release it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Something for you to use.
One of the examples that were shown was the heat haze effect, coming off the engines and whatnot, and how when you are far away looking at the plane, they're almost not visible, and let's just call it the blur that it creates. It's not a blur, it's an actual flow, but the blur that it creates is very soft, and you can almost see through it and not see the effect. But if you zoom in with, let's say, a virtual lens, right? If you zoom in on the aircraft and now have the perspective of being up close, it is very visible, much like an airliners.net photograph, from a real photographer.
What I was going to say is, if you remember where we drove to Vegas, as you're driving through the desert, you get that heat haze on the horizon. And it almost looks like water. It's kind of the heat coming off the ground. There's no water there, but you get that haze, and it's natural looking.
Yeah,
it looks natural.
Absolutely.
They showed fire, and the fire looked really
had haze
natural.
going up.
And not only was it like a fire, right? It was a fire and haze, and it was like we can remove the fire and the haze stays there because it's completely like an isolated particle.
It's like natural gas.
And it looked like natural gas leaking out of the ground. And it was like, let's introduce the fire again. It's like, psh, and then he's like, let's put the plane next to the fire, and it was illuminating it in the correct way. And dude, it was bananas.
They basically, in the particle system, you can do that in P3D right now. That's how the lights are made. It's using the particle system, dynamic lighting. So basically, what they did with XPLANE now is that if you have a particle, it can emit light. If you have a flare, you can shoot it up the sky. It will light up the area, which is something new for XPLANE, definitely. And it's just perfect.
Exciting stuff. So on the XPLANE talk, I do want to toss this out there. It wouldn't be right if I didn't speak my mind. During another talk, and granted, every time there was a session, let's call them sessions, every time there was a session, almost everyone ran over. Almost everyone got told, you got a minute. You got 30 seconds. I don't think there was anyone that finished early, right?
No.
Almost everyone was getting cut off real quick. And Austin took it upon himself to straight up in the middle of someone's presentation yell some shit out at him. And I do mean from halfway back in the room on the sideline, yell some shit out at him. I'm not going to bother trying to decipher the context of why the question was asked, but the simple fact that outside of a Q&A session, my man took it upon himself to scream out a question to the guy when he's on a limited fucking time. And then the question had to be asked to be repeated because my man was English second language. So he didn't really quite comprehend the question. So he tried to answer it the best he can. And he interrupted his fucking presentation. Yo, that's a little... You can't do that, man. Let the people have their time. If at the end that speaker gives you the privilege of Q&A time, there's your door to say something. Outside of that, your mom taught you fucking manners, bro. Shut up. Don't do that.
He's a fucking Texan.
I don't dislike the guy at all. I'm all about, like, I'm fucking president, king, founder, all the things of this company. He's a smart man. Every time I hear him talk, I'm like, that's a smart motherfucker. But you know what? It doesn't take being smart to not be rude. And I would not be real to myself if I didn't put that out there while talking about his company.
So wait.
Next.
I was not there. I don't know what happened. So was it Austin being interrupted by someone, or Austin interrupting?
Austin interrupting someone.
It was right at the beginning when the announcements, your new announcements.
Yeah, it was. And
they had 5 minutes.
Oh, the 5 minutes announcement at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, to announce their new products and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just chimed in. Yeah, blah 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 blah. You know, being Austin, probably not thinking. And the guy just said, I don't know what you said, and he had to repeat it.
And time didn't stop, right?
No,
time just kept running.
Yeah.
Of course not. And they ran over by like the first few sessions.
So, anyways, I had to toss that out there, man. You know, there's a certain set of manners you have to carry with you to a presentation. It's a presentation, after all, and the stuff is timed. In many cases, presenters, you know, you don't know. They may have paid for that time.
They did pay, and they were there after anyway. So if you have questions, if you have just
come and see me.
Yeah, go and see me. You're Austin. You can go anywhere.
So that's the big stuff. At this stage, you know, is there anything else you guys want to point out that you scoped out?
FS Elite is bringing up something called Directory that I found really, really interesting. And I can't, because I met so many people. He was like the creative developer for FS Elite. But if you see this, I'm sorry, Greg, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I really wanted to get that, you know, one-on-one looking at it. But the short of it is kind of like a system that's going to be very user-friendly to find your sceneries. I didn't mention aircraft, but that would be kind of cool too. But you can put in different ranges. Let's say you only have $40 to spend this month, and loose $40, but you want to spend it on your sim, you want to find a scenery. Well, Directory, you can use this, and it'll go out and canvas the websites, find the best deals for you, see if it even exists, whether it's a freeware or a payware, and present it to you.
You want something in the Seattle area, you're in an airport, it will just scour all of those airports and put them all in. Right.
So they also have like a directory, a little database is already built up, as I understood it, if I'm remembering properly. But I'm looking forward to seeing this product come to fruition, because I think it's going to be great for anyone and everyone who are always looking to fly to different locations around the world. Stop doing the same routes. You know, we live on a big ass marble, and
don't be sheeple.
Yeah, exactly. So you can put it in and find new locations, and then, oh, by the way, there is payware or some really good freeware, and you can go out and purchase it and all. So I look forward to what FS Elite is doing with Directory. And again, sorry I didn't get that one-on-one time. I really wanted to. And FS Elite crew, you guys were great. I enjoyed talking to you guys on and off. You guys were great. Hope we can do more down on the road. FS Dream Team did a nice little tech thing. Short of it is, and it was really weird. So I don't remember the guy's name.
Umberto.
Was it? So he goes basically, oh, I want to show you one more thing. So you go back outside of said airport and you start going upstairs. Like we all go upstairs to go into rooms. So you're out on the tarmac and you're going upstairs to go back into the terminal. Well, it takes you a moment, and then next you realize you're not clipping through the stairs. You're not clipping through the arms, the barriers, the barriers and all. So basically, they brought in some new tech to where you can go up and down stairs and not clip through it. That was actually pretty dope.
And you're right, there was no clipping. No matter how wide that shot was, the camera was not clipping the handrails.
The collision detection was really good. Very good.
Very good. And then takes you inside the airport, and there was a full-on working traffic board
inside
that was clocking what was going on in your
outside. City. Yeah, it was nuts, bro. It was nuts.
It was clocking it, and that was unbelievable. Plus, there's for your stands or your gates, depending where you come from. There's a little board there that's giving you information about your plane, what's going on, this, that, and the
flights.
Other. Right. Well,
and when you use GSX ground,
your beer's kicking in. His beer's kicking in.
That's the beer. It will tell you, your
boarding,
fuel truck's coming,
fuel,
or whatever's coming.
Right. So you're getting that data while you're sitting there, in your seat, and it's being read. Another cool thing is, what was it? If I got that right, animated traffic or boarding traffic? Was that something we were talking
passengers?
About?
I'll chime in right here. I've got this on lock. Yeah. So it's going to be GSX level 2, basically an expansion pack to GSX that will bring animated passengers into it as well. And some people have already reported seeing incredibly creepy shadow people inside their buses, actual
but they're
things.
Not texturized.
They're not textured at all, and it looks really creepy, bro. It's the beginning of what's coming. Eventually, those models will get off the bus and board your plane from the appropriate doors all the way up, and kind of simulate in. It's going to be an expansion pack to GSX. So you can continue just using GSX and not buying this expansion, a pay-for product, but not a separate product, right? It's an add-on for an existing one. So you can never buy that, and GSX will continue development.
That's going to be the next trend. It's an add-on for an add-on.
An add-on for an add-on.
That's what I'm doing already.
Yeah, it's an add-on for an add-on. An add-on for an add-on, but. I do want to pull this back as well to the other stuff, back to the jetways. The other part of this was a software, was the ability to customize your jetways across the entire sim. Doesn't matter if it is a default scenery, an Orbex scenery, a custom scenery by another developer. This will let you select whatever jetway style you want. It will let you, on the fly in the sim, check whether or not this jetway works for the current aircraft you're in or not, or works for that current airport that you're trying to put it onto. It had what looked like 50 different styles of jetways,
Yeah,
all
it's
of
a lot.
which will work with these 3D passengers that are loading through the jetway as well. If a bus isn't the way to load them, and a jetway is, it has a banner board on the outside, like many major airports do. You can add your own logos to.
We could have Sky Lounge jetways.
And I bring time back to
And you
when
can change the colour of them as well.
yeah, you can change the color. Yeah, exactly. So and I bring back the time to when an add-on developer said, "This is not a jetway simulator." Well, ladies and gentlemen,
It is
It is
now.
It is now.
it will be now, because
Yeah.
and these jetways, they looked gorgeous, and he's supposed to basically have just like tons of different jetway styles that exist in real world, so that you can match like the correct one. So all these airports that you have that don't have working jetways can have working
And
jetways.
that also makes it way easier for scenery developers. Because a lot of scenery developers that might not be up to like FS Dream Team quality
you're
or
right.
time or resources.
They
You
can
build
build
a
the
terminal.
buildings.
Yeah, and you just attach those generic jetways and they work.
Dude, you're so right.
Right.
It works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recommended
So-
for use with boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Noodle.
I
What
was
else
really
you got?
impressed with that. So I was really impressed with that. So the last kind of few things for me was I'm really starting to think about maybe I'll use a freaking large 30 to 40 inch freaking TV as a monitor to fly.
There
'Cause
were
I
some
tell
big
you,
TVs there.
There was a lot. Basically, every booth there that was having some sort of display had a 30 plus, basically like a TV screen for flying and all. And you know, I have right now 2 dual 29s, and sometimes I have a 23 on my left or my right, depending how I feel. But I fly and game on a 29-inch widescreen. But seeing all these booths using a 30, maybe like a 40, and there's some that are even more than that, I'm going, you know, that's not bad for flying. But the only drawback is, though, it is so in your face.
Oh,
It's
Yeah,
like
it's incredibly
The only-
interesting.
plain,
The only thing you've got to
plain.
remember, with TV screens, Mr. Noodle, is the frame rate.
Not all though, bro. Did you
sorry.
see some were milky smooth?
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
But it's the I forget what the word is. It's the RMS.
refresh rate.
RMS. Is it? It's the
The refresh rate. Just the
not just
refresh
The
rate.
persistence.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
Because
there's
some of them are
that.
pretty slow.
But you know, if you have a modern TV now, you should be fine if you want to do
Did
this.
you
So,
see? Did you see one that you loved and then asked them, "What is this?" Because I want to buy it.
Nope.
You should have.
Nope.
You regret not asking now,
Nope.
don't you?
Nope, because I have a 65-inch Sony in our living room.
It'll be
I
shit.
know how much that shit costs. I
And
know how
you're gonna
that
rip
looks.
that off the wall, test it out, and go, yeah, that's the one.
Nah,
Right, I'll get a new
there's-
TV.
There's some said female in my home that would not allow that.
All right. So
But,
for the people watching, then you ask for some recommendations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody happens to do that, if you fly with, say, a 32 or 40, normal, just a TV, you know, these, I mean, we've all seen these flat panel ones are really, really good. If you use it, I would be curious to know, because like I said, seeing that, it really kind of made me, yeah.
You want to be
maybe.
40 plus though, bro. You don't want to be in a
Oh,
32. You want to be
Some
40
of them
plus.
were, well, there was a few that were 30s that looked good. Real good.
Yeah, you don't want to.
monitors.
You don't want to. You got
Very-
monitors at
yeah.
30 all day long.
Very
You don't want to be
Well,
30s.
yeah. I'm just saying.
I saw
you
some.
know,
I saw 30. I saw 32-inch ultra wide wraparounds that were in the $600 range right now at Fry's.
Yeah.
Just
Good.
this week. So like, you don't want to be in the 30 range if you go TV. If you go TV,
Right.
you want to put it on one of those rolling stands so that it goes beyond your desk. So
Sure.
if you have your desk against the wall, what you do is you put TV first, slide the desk up against that stand, you know, that rolling stand, and then do your setup that way. So you've got a
Yeah.
nice distance, but you want to be above 40, bro, for a TV.
Yeah, but it was just, you know, it was just really interesting seeing all that. But really, in the end, it was great. meeting all the people. I want to thank again everybody on the Orbex crew. You guys were great. Again, thank you for the dinner. Was it Saturday? That was great. Unexpected. That was a great thing. Totally enjoyed the conversation with everybody there. It helped me get a lot of insight on what you all do and all. So it was just
was great. Yeah, most definitely.
But overall, with all the developers there, I was able to speak to. It was great. It was weird for me to go and just ask a random question and then be like, "Oh, I know you. We all we watch your show every week." And so for me, it was a little odd, to hear that just about every time I went to a booth and we watch you guys. We watch you guys.
But see, here's the thing though. Some people will just, in my mind, some people will just say that, right? But no. These people were quoting us, bro. They were like, "Remember when you said this?" And they would correct me on site or something. Like, they really watch.
Yeah, so that was
that blows my mind, bro.
Yeah, and I said it to a number of them. I said, this is going to be a little difficult for me down the road to really rip on something if I need to, But
never
temporarily, I will not rip on something, as is this episode. So
this is the free pass.
This is the pass.
Is it like this? Is like, thanks for the free shirt. You get a free pass this episode. Yeah, is that what it was?
But overall, it was great.
Next year, every developer is showing up with a shirt.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it was really great. Talking with everybody was awesome. Meeting some of the streamers there from from the P3D side through the XPLANE side, and I was so tired after getting 3 hours of sleep Saturday. I met like John Fly and Josh Gibbs, and I could not. If you guys see this video, I just was so tired, and even Josh was saying it's like you didn't get a lot of sleep or some shit basically, and I was like I'm only on 3 hours of sleep, and I just could not get my name out. It's one of those things, you're meeting somebody. You're not fanboying, but you're just so out of it, you just can't get the words out. Get my own name out of my goddamn mouth. So, but overall, great experience. I loved it. A lot of talk about where it's going to be next time. I hope to do it again in Vegas, but further east down the strip, that would be great. Mainly meeting a larger venue. They sold out, outstanding. So bring it back to Vegas. If not, don't go too far. I don't want it to drive too far. I'm just being selfish.
Good
being selfish with that.
Good thoughts.
But there's many other things, but maybe we'll do another.
We need like a 3 hour, 4 hour show to really wrap it up.
There's just so much going on. And again,
and it's people stuff. Like it's not even like it's not announcements. It's people stuff.
Right. Can I just chime in for the last? I think this is
this is a wrap up.
I think this is going to be a wrap up. This man here got starstruck. He was so starstruck seeing Flight Chops.
Oh man, Flight Chops.
He was just like, go on, tell us about Flight Chops.
So yeah, like I was actually a little bit sad. I was extremely excited to hear that Flight Chops was going to be there. So for those of you that don't know Flight Chops, go and search for it on YouTube. You'll find it pretty much the only result there. Amazing content creator. Real world aviation. He doesn't come at you from, hey, I'm going to teach you to fly, watch me. He doesn't come at you from that angle at all. In fact, he comes at you from my friend said I could fly his plane. I've never flown one of these before. Come along with me as I learn. And it's awesome. Right now it's a T6 Texan. Before it was like an extra 300, and who knows all the other planes that he's been lucky enough to fly in, all the way up to jets, man. And they give him these incredible opportunities, and he shares them with us, the viewers, while at the same time collecting his hours and getting closer to, getting the rating that he wants, etc. incredible editing. Production value is a 10. Content value is a 10. You know, it was awesome. So hearing that he was going to be there, I was very excited. Bringing in real world aviation icons like this into flight sim events is exactly what we need, because I don't think many simmers realize just how much of the knowledge that we're able to perfect in sim actually would apply in real life. And they give us a window to see that. Additionally, the discussion that he had, the room wasn't very full. That made me a little bit sad. But the content in there was literal gold.
It was gold.
It was
They didn't know.
gold,
They didn't
bro.
know.
They didn't know.
No, exactly.
They didn't
That's
know.
why.
But I'm telling you right now, everybody that's watching this podcast, head over and check out Flight Chops on YouTube. You will not regret it. The passion that he has for aviation, period. Doesn't matter if it's heavies or GA or whatever. He loves flight. He loves planes. He loves aviation. It's what drives us all, right? The fact that we can launch an application and say, what do I want to fly today? He's living that pretty much in real life, right? By getting these experiences around the world of getting to fly different things. And it's cool. So head over and check out Flight Chops. Yes, I was definitely starstruck. It was an incredible opportunity to get to meet him and hear him, you know, in front of me versus like through a headset. And yeah, that was definitely cool.
Dude, I have closing thoughts, all right? I have two things. My man here tried XPLANE for the first time. We cannot leave this out, eh? We cannot leave this out. And you also tried VR.
Yes.
Keep it short, but I really want to know what you feel about this.
How did you feel with your man Rush sitting you down and saying, this is the plane that
Again,
worked,
right?
off you
Again,
go.
starstruck, right? Like Rush knows his shit. And Rush, you know, maybe you're watching, maybe you're not, or maybe
Aerosim Gaming, by the way.
Aerosim Gaming, yeah, Aerosim Gaming. He's a talker. My man can talk and talk and talk on stream, and half the shit that he fucking talks is like, I don't even care. It's way up here above my head, and you know, it's that. But like, if there's one person that you want to be next to you when you are trying XPLANE for the very first fucking time, it's Rush. And I had that honor. I walk over, you know, to say hi, fucking big hugs, same as last year. And, you know, we start kicking it. He's at the Milvis booth and he's like, have you seen my newest project? So they got my man Rush, Milvis did, to start to bring over planes into XPLANE. So they're going through the Rush touch of perfection, right? I said, is this XPLANE? He said, yes. And I sit down. The rest is history. Next thing you know, he's teaching me and setting it up for me and showing me. And he made me an offer that I cannot and will not refuse. And that is, you know, to provide me with the Aerosim Gaming Piper Cub and get me going on XPLANE post installation. Okay, I'm gonna install it and then we're gonna set it up real clean, real nice for my first true show in XPLANE, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I owe this to John Fly. I owe this to John Fly from last year, a challenge that was posed. He did jump in P3D. It's my turn to jump in XPLANE, and I'm gonna do it with some great help.
I'm a little disappointed because
I had a great time in XPLANE. It was incredible. I'm not gonna lie, it was incredible.
Viewers, here's the thing. I've been trying for over 2 years just to get him to try it once.
Exactly.
2 years.
Same.
It had to be there in front of me waiting, bro.
No. You hear that? It's right in front of you every day, right? When you go to a website, click. 2 years. Now all of a sudden, because it got challenged.
It was smooth. The physics were amazing. I remember pulling up. I remember retracting the flaps, and the plane was like, "Whoa, bro!" And I was like, "Whoa, bro!" I mean,
and
it
I've
was
been
like,
saying this shit for 2 years.
and I did a 1-engine landing, and that was real nice and challenging. And when I got up from that chair, it felt like I just did some work. It was awesome.
It was beautiful to see. And we have pictures as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. An amazing show for sure. We got to meet some incredible people. Like I said in my kind of wrap-up post, from lurkers to active commenters to contributors of news stories to supporting patrons, old friends, new friends, the whole nine. I mean, it was just an amazing show all around. I really do look forward to next year.
I hope it's in Vegas.
I hope it's in Vegas again. It seems like the angle that FlightSimExpo is going with now is that it's community. And with that, it really does seem to me like they are going to ask the community. But it seems to me like they're going to tally up the votes of where people want it and say, well, this one won, so we're going there. And that does make me a little sad, because I feel like the whole benefit to having a convention be stable is that it allows people to refine their plans every year.
Right.
Or try different things, or make it cheaper because I stayed at this hotel, but you stayed at that one, and that one was nicer, and so next year I'm gonna stay at that one, or let's plan to stay at this one, or
it's like myself. I mean, I planned a week, whereas if I know it's next year, I can start saving now. I could stay 2 weeks.
That's another thing for international travel. There's a big difference between flying to Vegas or flying to
Denver,
Chattanooga, Tennessee. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a big difference, and so giving people the consistency, I think, is awesome. I think it would be great for branding, like that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right? Having a different T-shirt for every year, but that's like collecting Apple Store opening T-shirts, right? I got a Soho one here, I got a San Francisco one. No, it doesn't work that way. It's not something that should move around and be celebrated at different places.
It needs to be solid.
I feel like it needs to be stable and refined. And
I think your idea, Noodle, maybe moving down the strip, bigger venue, more people.
Vegas is a playground. And we saw many simmers outside of the convention, as it should be. We ran into people all around, as it should be.
And girls.
There were definitely all the hot girls that were in Las Vegas were there for FlightSimExpo.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
Every single one. If you need proof, send me a private message. I'll send you a link. All the hot girls were there for FlightSimExpo.
Yeah, they need to keep it here, because the big thing, like you're saying, is continuity. The longer that they keep coming back, if they get the right venue, then they can work with said hotel or whatever venue, a discount, a little more leeway for this, a little more support for that. And keep in mind too, you can put in this whole lottery system for a whole new location, but you got to think about nightlife. When the convention is done for the day, people are going to want things to do, which I heard, which is why the one in Connecticut wasn't so hot, because people had nothing to do. So, keep in mind, just because I live here, that's great. And of course, I wanted to come back to Vegas, but it is basically a 24-hour town. I mean, it's a great location for it.
Exactly.
This is a great location for it to have this every year. And again, venues are here. There's always something going on. People will not be bored. And what if the convention goes for 3 or 4 days? And again, international travelers, you can prepare because you know you're going to go to Vegas. Whereas us who want to go to Cosford, I know every year as it stands, it's Cosford.
It's at Cosford.
I'm looking at trying to go to Cosford this year, definitely next year. the same principle. So.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thanks to everyone for watching, for the love, for the support, man. And yeah, I think the next opportunity to really get together like that will be at Cosford.
Yeah.
I've committed to going, thanks to a bet from.
You lost the bet.
Yeah, so I've committed to going, and I'll be at Cosford. I know you'll be at Cosford.
I'll be there.
I know you'll be at Cosford because you have an announcement to make at Cosford.
Yes.
So
XPLANE.
we'll see you at Cosford, but that's it for this episode. We'll see you virtually in this little box once again next week right here on YouTube. Thanks for everything, everyone.
Hey, Sky 5.
More real Sky 5s in person.
Great expo. Great expo. We'll drink more next time, for sure.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, Tempo 63.
63, contact the New York Center 128.3.
28-3, Tempo 6, very good day.
Are y'all here for the FlightSimExpo?
Yes, we're here for the FlightSimExpo.
Yeah, for the Sky Lounge?
Oh yeah, Sky Lounge, baby.
Dang!
Be there, be square.
Whoa!